everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Those Metal Dudes. This week we're going to start with some concert reviews. So, Eric, why don't you go ahead and get us started with the first concert review?
Yeah, last Wednesday I saw AC/DC for the first time. They were a bucket list item for me, and so for some reason, just never haven't seen them before. And I got tickets to them on the last tour 9 years ago, and then Brian Johnson had his hearing problem, and Axl Rose came on, and they said I could refund or go to the show, and I said it's like, well, that's not AC/DC, so I said forget it, give me a refund. I thought they were done, never get a chance to see him, and then here they are. I came back. The Pretty Reckless opened up for them, so that's a new band for me. Female singer, little thing, but she just like belted it out, and they rocked pretty good. So thumbs up for them for me. As far as AC/DC goes, wow. I mean, just it was loud. Angus on the guitar was fantastic. He's got gray hair, but he's still running around the stage, lots of energy. Brian Johnson was, dancing around on stage, big smile on his face. He was happy to be there. Um, I'm not sure how old Brian Johnson is, but at this point, I've seen some of the older singers. They have a hard time hitting those high notes that they did.
I'm not sure he ever hit a high note.
Well, screeched. He's a little screechy, but
He's real scratchy, that's for sure.
but if he keeps it a little lower, he was fine. The thing I thought was interesting, and Andrew mentioned it, that they've done this since Brian Johnson was a singer, was Brian and Angus were running around at the front of the stage, and the rest of the band was like, in the back and didn't move, but they would like come up to do background vocals. But other than that, it's like, you unimportant guys stay at the back of the stage.
Once again, that's Eric saying this bullshit, right?
Well, that wasn't me. That's the band. So it's like, those two are running around at the front of the stage, and yeah, the other two or other guys were sitting at the back. But no, all in all, I had a ball. Really glad to see those guys finally. So had a great time.
Sweet. All right. So the next show that this one we both went to, and it was in a new place for both of us. Neither of us had been to the Capitol Theater before. It's in downtown Flint. We both thought the place was awesome. It reminded me of some of the old theaters that we've been to down in Detroit, like the Masonic and Royal Music Theater, which isn't where I'm going, but same point. Anyway, pretty cool place. Parking was awesome. It's right just a block away. $5, can't beat that. So in that regard, that was really cool. So
it's going to be like the cheapest parking I've ever seen. Yeah,
ever, right? So that was awesome. So it was what we saw Sin, Sin, open up for Great White. And never heard of Sin before, and afterwards we had to try and look them up and find out what we could about them. And there really isn't much online about this band, but we both thought they were really good. 80s, 90s style music. The lead singer to me reminded me of Vince Neil later on, like Girls, Girls, Girls. Definitely not during his satanic worshiping days of Shout at the Devil or his Fat Man routine that he's got going on right now.
Like now?
No, not like now. The guy's voice, he was awesome. His name was Matt Elder. He was great voice, great singer. They had two guitar players, a bass player, and a drummer. Just sounded awesome. The only thing I could find out about these guys is they've done a lot of tours with a lot of big name bands, so they've been out there before, and I don't know how that we passed them up other than when we tried to look them up. And Eric, you reached out to them to try and get some music, and what was their response?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised because just like you said, I thought they were very good, definitely like 80s style rock. And you said that the singer reminded you of Vince Neil. He actually reminded me of Bret Michaels a little bit, but same era and everything. But no, I'm a big CD collector, and so I sent them a message on Facebook. I said, hey, you guys got any albums out, any CDs out? And they actually replied to me and they said, no, we actually don't have any albums out. We have some songs on Spotify, where you can download them there or iTunes or something. So I was really shocked that they don't have any albums out.
Yeah, that was a surprise because they really were that good. Mm-hmm. Apparently they're from Chicago. They get a lot of play on the radio over there. That's all I could really find out. If you have anybody out there has any more information about these guys, forwarded on to us because we really thought they did a great job as well as Great White. I mean, those guys just phenomenal. It was a great show. They sounded awesome. They played awesome. You could tell they played well together. It was a great venue to go to and a great show. So the only thing that kind of sucked about it was the concert shirt.
No, actually,
it is black, but there are no skulls and there's no warriors.
No.
It was just the sharks on there, so that's kind of lame. However, if that's the only thing you got to bitch about of going to a show, that's right. Oh, plus you got paper tickets, so that was cool too.
Yeah. I want to say this though. The young guy they have singing though is like I really do want to point out. It's like he was phenomenal. I thought he
really
did a
good,
great
yeah.
job. And musically, you know, the Mark Kendall and Michael Lardy, the both guitar players originals, they were there, and the drummer original. And so it's like musically, they sounded just like the albums. I thought
Yeah,
it was
they really did.
very good.
The lead singer, he did. His name is Brett Carlisle. He did a great job. Singing was good with the crowd. Has a great voice. So those guys, they're worth going to go see. That was for sure.
Oh, I want to point out one thing though, as far as like the T-shirt, and you're right. And he even mentioned this when we bought the T-shirts, is that hey, it's black, but there's no skulls or warriors or anything on this. Sharks are cool. I always thought that great white stuff.
Flame shirt.
But as we were walking out though, I did say it's like, well, I got a great idea. You know what would be even better? Shark skeleton. It's like, wouldn't that be cool? Like a shark skeleton.
Anything would be cooler than this.
No,
well, I bought one too. However, I'm not wearing it because they don't look like idiots.
They don't look like twinsies. You know?
Right. So, no, we don't plan on our wardrobe. It just worked out this way. So
yeah. Well, sometimes we actually do call each other ahead of time because we don't want to look the same and look like.
It depends what the band is. If we both know that we only have one or two shirts, we got to make sure we're not both wearing the same.
Yeah, we don't want to look like complete goofballs.
No, can't look like complete. All right, Eric, go ahead. Take us to the last.
Bring us home.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, so that was actually, I saw 3 concerts last week, and the last one was on Sunday, was Graham Bonnet and Marco Mendoza at the Token Lounge. And Marco Mendoza is a bass player. He's a very experienced musician. And actually he had a pretty good singing voice, but I was telling Andrew that singers who like put you to work just chives my hide. You know, it's like if they want you to jump around.
You got this out of your system.
No, I got to vent it, man. It's like, so one of the songs he played was like a blues song. And so, he wants us all to like snap our fingers, and we do it. And you know how people are. It's like after a minute or so they stop, and then he kind of stops playing again. Okay, let's keep it going, guys. Let's keep it going. So, Graham Bonnet, 77 years old, and so it's like Token Lounge typically doesn't have chairs on the floor, so they had chairs on the floor because they knew the audience was going to be old too. So I'm sitting there with like a bunch of 60-year-olds, doing this, and then after a minute was well, not 60 yet, but so. Anyways, I was starting to get pissed off. It's like just keep. I don't want. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of work for him.
It is. I was exhausted. So, anyways, but other than that,
how was the show? How did they do?
Okay, so other than that, Marco's got a good voice, and I liked his music. He did some covers and stuff, so he was pretty good, musically. Just don't put me to work. Graham Bonnet. I'm a big fan of Graham Bonnet, Rainbow, Michael Schenker group, and he's been around forever, powerful voice, and 77, you can still belt it out, kind of the same thing as Brian Johnson, kind of struggles with the high notes, but if he keeps it like in a mid-register, he's fine, and, did the Rainbow song Since You've Been Gone All Night Long. And so, I enjoyed. Oh, one thing though about the Graham Bonnet set is, no, I don't know. Maybe I haven't been paying attention.
Did he make you guys clap?
No, so Graham didn't put us to work, but and I know for like older singers, if they're going on these long tours, they'll go off stage and then the band will do like an instrumental.
Right, and then you take a break or a nap.
Yeah, and so the keyboard player started screwing around doing something, and then the rest of the band jumped in. And I'm not kidding. It seemed like about at least 10 to 15 minutes. And at that point, I was just a little disappointed. It's like, I came to hear Graham sing. I get it. He's a little getting up there. He's 77. So it's just like a gift that he's still going on tour. So I'm glad he is. But so that part I got irritated a little bit, but I get it. He's old. I did the meet and greet
Older
with.
musicians irritate Eric.
No, but no, I'm a big fan of Graham. I did the meet and greet with him. Very cool guy. He signed all my stuff. Very friendly. Shook my hand a couple of times.
All right.
So
And it was a good show?
good show overall. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Thanks, Eric.
All right.
All right. So now we've got a concert announcement this week that has got Eric all fired up, but this is in a positive manner. Eric?
Yeah. So over the last few years, I'm becoming a bigger fan of Vicious Rumors, and it's kind of funny because I never even heard of the band up until recently, and checked them out. Got a few of their CDs. I saw them at Sanctuary in Hamtramck last year. Love them. Jeff Thorpe, phenomenal guitar player, both rhythm and also his solos. It's like I love him. So, anyways, Vicious Rumors is coming to Sanctuary in Hamtramck on August 30th. That's a Saturday night. And also opening up for him is Wanted. So that's a local band here that also I'm just starting to fall in love with them. A bunch of young guys playing 80s metal, and I saw Wanted earlier this year at the Diesel, and I was actually messaging Andrew. I said the closest thing I can come to them describing them is Doc, and then ironically 2 songs after that they did a Doc cover of Alone Again, and so I'm like going, well, there you go. So very excited for that one coming up. Vicious Rumors and Wanted at Sanctuary in Hamtramck on August 30th.
Be there. Okay, now we're going to get to our album reviews. The first album that we reviewed this time around was actually brought to our attention by one of our thousands of listeners and viewers, the millions of you that are out there helping us make it through day to day. Thank you so much. But one of them made a comment about how Eric's pick of EZO absolutely blew chunks, and that there was another band.
Well, he didn't describe it that way.
Well, I guess that's an interpretation. And that he suggested Loudness was a million times better. So, because of getting that feedback, I decided, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and review Loudness's album, but we're going to review their 5th album. And that is this one here that's wonky. Sorry about that. Anyway, Thunder in the East came out in 1985. It was their 5th album. It was their first release in the United States with Echo Records, which was this branch of Atlantic Records. It was the first album that was made in all English, where all the lyrics are sung in English. This is a Japanese band, for those of you that don't know. It's a Japanese band. Their first 4 albums had some English-speaking songs to them, but most of them were sung in Japanese. So this time around, that's what made it a big deal. Is this is their first English album was released here. It made the top 100, came in at number 74 on the top 100 charts. So did okay. The band was founded by the guitar player Akira Takasaki and the drummer Munitako.
Munitako?
Yeah.
Sounds Hispanic, Mexican.
Well,
Something to talk about.
The big songs off this album were Crazy Nights and Never Change Your Mind. So listening to this album, there are 2, 4, 6, 10 tracks on this album. I really liked it. I thought for sure this was far better than the EZO album, with hands down. I thought the songs were put together well. You could tell that they've played together well. The guitarist on here is Akira Takasaki. Sorry.
Say that again?
Right. Akira Takasaki.
Just say the first one.
Awesome guitar player.
Yeah.
Just shreds the guitar. Just his solos on just about every song was just unbelievable. Starts out Crazy Nights, big song. Like Hell was okay. The Never Change Your Mind. I'm sorry, that song sucked. It was a ballad that did
so
well
you changed
over
your
here. No, I did never like that. Yeah. No, I never liked it to begin with. But Clockwork Toy great album in there, except for there's a middle part that was kind of got slow, a little bit there. But other than that, uh, awesome song, great album. I don't own it. This album I will buy because I just
Really?
thought, oh yeah, I was really impressed with this. I really liked it. Had the vibe of the '80s when it came out. Most of the songs on here were worth listening to. I think there was only one or two that I really didn't care for, like the last one. On the lines are down. It was an okay song, but the soul on it was awesome. So it made it worth listening to just for the soul. I mean, the guitar player on here is great. If you've never heard the band, go check them out. If you've never heard this album, Thunder in the East, you got to check it out. Really good album. Eric, what did you think?
Um, yeah, so it's like obviously they've been on my radar for a while. I do have several of their CDs, but to be honest, it's like I haven't listened to them too much. So when we did this review and I was listening to them, and I've heard different people describe Akira as the Japanese Eddie Van Halen, and I can definitely get that. And I will agree, he's a phenomenal guitar player. I mean, between the riffs and especially the solos, I mean, some of his solos are just phenomenal. So comparing Loudness and EZO, Akira is definitely the best musician out of the bunch. So I will give him that.
That whole band is better than EZO.
Maybe musically,
Loudness is, what else is there?
well, I'll get to that in a second.
Oh,
So
they don't have a cool. What, they got skulls on their album covers for these guys?
no, see, because I was going to say that EZO songs are more aggressive, and so and that's basically I want to say again. It's like they're both Japanese, so I can compare them. Yeah, there's like some slow stuff and some mid-tempo stuff. Musically, they're great musicians, but I guess my thing is two things. The singer for Loudness has more of an accent, and that kind of distracts me a little bit. The singer for EZO doesn't have much of an accent at all, and also I think EZO, most of EZO's songs are more aggressive. So to be honest, again, I might be in the minority, but I still like EZO better than
Cow minority.
Loudness. So like I said, other than that, the accent kind of like distracts me a little. And again, I'm probably in the minority here.
Yeah.
I think if the singer has too much of an accent, I would prefer them to sing it in their native language. So I think I would prefer it if he sang it in Japanese.
Oh my goodness, crazy talk. Are you done?
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense.
So, well, what rating would you give the album?
This I would buy it. I wouldn't give it a 10, and I'm not sure I'd give it a 9. I've got to start looking at my rating system. I have to knock some down a little bit. I'm not sure I could knock EZO down any more than negative 300 million, but it would definitely be an 8. I know I've thrown a couple 8s out there, but this was definitely there. This was a strong album, and like I said, this is an album I will be buying. I was that impressed by it. So
yeah, like I said, musicianship top notch. So that I'm not taking away from him. Like I said, other than the singer's accent, kind of distracting me a little bit. But I think EZO's songs are better. I like them because they're more aggressive. So it's like if
we all heard.
Yeah. So if Loudness played more aggressive, I give him a higher score. But I'm gonna give that album a 6.5. So.
You do not. All right. Well, obviously, this next one, this will show you how poor his taste is. Go ahead.
All right. So my pick of the week is Pretty Maids' classic album, Future World. So this is kind of like their... Oh, am I disappearing here?
Yeah.
Sorry, this is our first one. Right okay, this is our first video using virtual background. So Pretty Maids' classic album, Future World. This is the one they always like finish up most of their concerts with the song Future World. They're from Denmark. Didn't really tour over here in America, which is like really disappointing. It's like, anyways, getting to the album, solid rock, metal album, and a lot of these are very aggressive. Even the song Yellow Rain starts out kind of ballady, but then it just like kicks butt for like the rest of the song. And there's only like a couple. Love Games is kind of like a poppy rock song, so that one was kind of like down a little bit. But Rodeo, Needles in the Dark rocks, and so really like this album. Good hard rock album. I'm gonna give this one. Gosh, if like Love Games wasn't on there, and a couple of the other softer ones. Again, I'm gonna give it another 8. So far, obviously, for these album reviews, I'm picking some of my favorite albums so far. But so this one definitely an 8.
All right. Well, certainly I didn't think any of that. It's definitely a European band,
Mhm.
and what's typical with these, especially these Norwegian bands, is there's a lot of keyboard, and the keyboard you hear is very proficient in every single song. And I don't want to hear the keyboard. I don't mind if it's holding the background, or if you've got one guitar player, so you need it to hold the background to the song. I'm cool with that. I don't have any issues with that because a lot of bands do use keyboards that way. But in this band, keyboards were actually part of it. They made sure you knew there were keyboards in this album and on all of these songs. I did get some feels of different bands when I was listening to the song. I thought Future World was by far their best song on that album. When I first heard that song, I was just like, sweet, Eric finally picked a good album. And then I heard the rest of it, and then I'm just like, damn it.
No,
But
really?
yeah, yeah. And it's because of the keyboards. There's too much of the keyboards. We Came to Rock was an okay song, but for some reason, when I was listening to that in the chorus, I got a picture of Dio all the time during the chorus for whatever reason. So I'm not sure what I was picking up on that one. I agree with you. Love Games, bad. That was the only song on this album that I actually put on my notes as bad. It says it right there. Eric can see it. It says bad. Poppy 80s keyboards bad. That's what it says. Yellow Rain was slow to start,
And then rocked.
and then it got a little bit better.
Oh, no.
I liked Loud and Proud.
That was a
It
good one.
started off with a lot of keyboards, and then it came back really well. Like I said, I put in my notes, good recovery. So I didn't like the beginning of the song, but as it got going, I'm just like, okay, this is nice. This is going to be an awesome song. And I found that the singer's voice, especially was he was at the lower end of his ranges, which was most of his singing when he was doing the more rougher, gruffer sound. He reminded me of Blackie Lawless a lot. That's what I got from him. Was
I can
like
see that.
there was a lot of that. When he did the higher notes, he has much better range than Blackie does.
That was
And when he was hitting the middles and the highs, very strong voice, no question about it. But the lower ends is where he really sounded the best to me, and it reminded me of Blackie. I thought this, as far as the albums that Eris picked so far, I would put this in second place. The first would have been the Armored Saint album, then this one, and then the Easy O. So he's getting, he did drop back a step. It's okay. I'm not as familiar with this band, so I like the fact that I got to listen to a new band and I got to hear it. And if I'd have thought about it ahead of time about them being a Norwegian band, or then maybe I would have had a different mindset, and so the keyboards wouldn't have been such a shock, or I would have been accepting of them more. So knowing that I was getting into that, because I know as soon as I started listening to that, it was your typical European keyboard. That they really love the keyboards over there,
Yeah.
and it really was a part of this, and that just for me was a little too much for me. But I thought it was a well done album. I thought they played well together. You can tell that they do play well together. It just the keyboards just kind of put me off on it. But really, Future World, that was a really good song. That song I would like. That would be. I would download that song just for that, but I would not buy this album. So in all honesty, I'd probably put this one as a 5 or a 6, just because of that. Maybe different mindset and a different expectation. I might have given it one more markup, but it really was just too much of the keyboards for me, and that's my feel on that one.
No, and to be honest, I do agree with you there, because it's like, we're both rockers, and so it's like obviously the guitars need to be out front.
Yes,
I don't mind keyboards if
I
it's
don't
like
either.
if it's in the background and provides like more like an epic atmosphere or something. But no, I agree with you that way too. It's like if there's like a band, and there are some that are obviously far worse than this, where the keyboard's like
In your face,
out front. And like say, I don't want to say like Nightwish, but again, some more like you said, European bands that really have keyboards like way out in front.
Yeah,
That's where that kind of like starts turning me off. It's like even though they might be metal bands, for me, my taste is like I want the guitars out front, maybe keyboards in the background a little bit. This obviously I didn't mind it that much because I felt that the keyboards
Give him an 8.
added to it. So yeah, so it's like it was.
So he says this, and he gives him that, and I'm just like,
Well, I didn't feel like the keyboards were too out in front here.
no,
No.
no. So anyway, let us know what you think. And Jason, thank you for recommending Thunder in the East, or I should say Loudness, because we did pick Thunder in the East to listen to, and that was an awesome album. And once again, if any of you out there have an album that you think is worth listening to or want us to do a review on, throw it in our comments, and we'll get it on the next time we do an episode. So, and now it is time for That's Debatable. So our first topic today for That's Debatable is, once again, we're going with the T-shirts, as it says, a big part of our lives as concert goers. Probably more so now because they got rid of paper tickets, and now really the only thing you have to show that you're at the show, besides pictures and videos of everybody with their annoying phones in your face all concert long, is if you buy some of their merch. So in that regard, we both do that. Me, I do it pretty much at every single show. Eric's much choosier than I am when it comes to that, where I'm going to get a T-shirt from every concert we go to, and that's why you'll see sometimes that I'm wearing a lame concert shirt or one that we don't agree meets our criteria. It's just to have that remembrance because there's no longer a paper ticket. So in this topic is bootleg T-shirts. Are you buying the bootleg T-shirts that are being sold in the parking lot or from any of those stall stands that they might have at festivals, or are you supporting the band and buying their merchandise? I know they don't always get a lot from those sales, but they are the way the items are supposed to be bought. They do get some part of that. And it's not just their T-shirts that they have there as well. They may have tapestries, hats, anything. Their CDs. Are you okay with the bootleg thing? Bandanas? Or are you supporting me? I won't buy the bootleg stuff. Never am I going to do that. I'm supporting the band. I like the band. They provide the music. Yeah, the shit's expensive. The shirts are expensive. The concert's expensive. The beer's expensive. But still, it's part of going to concerts. And since that's where I'm mostly spending my money anyway, I don't have a problem with it. So I'm only buying what's inside the venue. Eric, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, let me agree on this 100% too. It's, we both strongly believe in supporting the bands. I will never buy a T-shirt from a parking lot T-shirt guy, even though they're getting ridiculous. Iron Maiden Iron Maiden was the first $50 T-shirt that we saw. When I went to AC/DC, of course, everything was 50, and then they had two T-shirts that were 65, and now I'm kind of like, I'm assuming that the bands don't have any say in how much the T-shirts.
I don't even care for that matter.
Yeah, and so that part sucks. But even so, I will never buy a T-shirt from a guy in the parking lot. It's like we're there to support the bands, and we want the money to go to the bands. And so it's like, if I'm gonna get a shirt, it's always in the venue, 100%.
Sweet. So we are in agreement of that.
Yeah.
So our next topic is one that I feel very strongly about. I'm not sure how strongly Eric feels about it, but I do. And it's wearing other band shirts to concerts. So if I'm going to go see AC/DC, I'm wearing an AC/DC shirt, or I'm not wearing a concert shirt. I have 2 Jack Daniel's shirts that I rotate when I go to shows where I don't have a concert shirt from that band. And then when I get there, I buy one to support the band. This actually was something that came about that was re-emphasized to me one time when I heard a recording of Ted Nugent, who I just happen to be wearing his shirt today, and that is pure coincidence, by the way. But he was doing a radio interview, and they had gone to commercial, and as they were coming back from commercial, they played another band's song, and Ted got mad. And he said, "You've got me on here to do interviews. This is a show that you want to talk about me and my music and my bands and stuff, yet you want to play other band songs when you're introducing me or putting me on instead of playing my songs." That resonated huge with me, and that would have pissed me off too. I understand where Uncle Ted's coming from. So when I go to shows, if I'm going to go to a Ted Nugent show, I'm going to throw on a Ted Nugent concert shirt that I bought in the past. When we went to Great White, I didn't have a Great White shirt. Jack Daniels came on. So, but anyway, sorry, we just had a technical issue and now it's completely throwing me off my train of thought. So, Eric.
Okay, so you're talking about Uncle Ted and is getting mad at the radio station.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Well, you know what the funny thing is? It's like I didn't have a major issue with it before. So, like, let's say, for example, if I'm going to a Dawkins show, I don't have a Dawkins T-shirt. I might wear a rap T-shirt. So it's kind of like similar subgenre. I didn't think that was a big issue. But after going to shows with Andrew, and he was kind of talking about those things. Now it's like I'm starting to, I don't say agree with him. So it's like I see his logic. So I'm kind of getting that in habit too, where it's like, yeah, if I don't have a T-shirt of that band, I've got a Machine Shop T-shirt, and I've got a Token Lounge T-shirt, and I've got a Metal Militia T-shirt. So kind of like
You have other shirts you can wear.
yeah. So now I'm starting to do that. So I guess you've influenced me. So I'm thinking,
Well, awesomeness,
Oh, your awesomeness
the
is rubbing off
greatness,
on me.
right? The greatness is a bubble of greatness. You can't escape it.
Well, well, except for you believe in green T-shirts and other goofy things, so your fashion sense, leaves a little bit to be desired. But for that, I am agreeing with you now. So yeah.
Oh, gee, thanks, man. All right, so this week we both agreed. Bootleg T-shirts out. Wearing other bands' shirts to concerts, I strongly agree to that.
I'll mildly agree with that.
And so that's where we stand.
So hey, we actually kind of agree on the two that's debatable topics. So
yeah, well, it's debatable. Well, thank you for joining us again, and tune in next time and let us know. You got a comment? Let us know. If you got an album you want us to review, let us know. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Rock on.
Stay metal.